match at WrestleMania, really, and moved on by now. But there you go. Okay, I've got a question now from Richard. Hi guys, really like your show. I always think you are both very honest and always non-biased. There you go, Matt. Did you know that? So we're not just Roman haters here. And he says, I feel like WWE have no reason whatsoever now to say that Roman can't be a heel. I know that before there weren't too many baby faces up and coming. However, WWE have no excuses. They have a guy in Braun Strowman that is bigger, stronger, and he even appeals to kids now. Brackets, unfortunately, I'm with you there. And they also have other guys such as Elias that could come over. Seth Rollins that has been getting over recently. There is no excuse now for them not to push Roman as a heel when there are so many other guys now, at least 3 or 4, that could be, quote unquote, the guy. Your thoughts? So, good point that he makes there, Matt. And maybe, a couple of years ago when he faced Triple H, there weren't too many baby faces on the horizon. But at this point, Matt, I mean, what is the excuse now for WWE to keep this up with and not go with somebody else now? Especially, it's not even like we're saying Finn Balor or Daniel Bryan now, because you could always argue Vince is he's not into that body shape. But I mean, you've got Braun Strowman, you've got Elias, you've got Seth Rollins, who's not the smallest guy by any stretch of the imaginations. We've seen him pull off good matches. So is there more likelihood now, Matt, for them not to be able to say he is the only guy?
Oh, I don't know. This is going to sound a bit weird now, but I can only assume that going from Vince's previous examples to people he's chosen to be the face of his company, I don't think he's going to look at Braun Strowman's face and go, "That's a handsome face." I feel like he might look at Roman and think, that guy's got that look, the long hair, he's got that muscular build, his Samoan heritage, the connection to The Rock. I feel like he looks at him still like he is the guy, like the total package guy, and the look and the heritage, all, like as I said, it all comes together for him on that deal. I mean, there's no doubt that Braun is highly capable, and he is a great babyface as well as he was as a heel. It's just, I feel that the look will let him down. I don't think you can stick his face on vans and trucks and stuff and get people interested. But yeah, there is no excuse. I mean, someone like Seth Rollins, I think he is the next most sort of likely candidate, really, because he does have an incredibly hard work ethic, and he does have the same sort of similar look to Roman, even if he is a little bit smaller than him. But yeah, saying that, there are so many options, like you're saying. There is no excuse for it. The only other thing I can think of is, the option's always on the table to turn Roman heel any day of the week. It's always still there. But once they do that, they lose the reaction that they have for Roman now. I mean, we all say it's not a great reaction, but he's the only wrestler that gets this reaction, which makes him a unique attraction in that sense.
Yeah, I'm with you that reaction is, but it's only good when he faces Brock Lesnar or something, who is also kind of like a heel in himself. But the problem is when he goes up against someone like Jinder Mahal, who is supposed to be a guy he's supposed to really dislike, or another guy will come along, I'm sure, that is a blatant heel, and then fans will just cheer the hell out of him and boo Roman. That's when there's problems for me. When he goes up against other heels, I have no problems whatsoever. When he goes up against other baby faces, or guys that are in between like Brock, no problems. But when he's up against a full-blown heel, it ruins the guy he's facing. It just brings them down because it gets the total wrong reaction, and then they kind of don't get any heat whatsoever. I mean, any heel that is in a program with Roman, Matt, must be dreading it. They must be thinking, "Oh God, what can I do to be more hated than him?" It's so difficult.
Yeah, there's not much you can do.
Because I mean, Jinder Mahal was like Hulk Hogan was cheered in '87 at the O2 the other night. I mean, it was crazy. So it goes to show you that that's the problem with him at the minute. And That's the only thing where there comes a problem. Listen, if I was playing fantasy booker and I was Vince McMahon here, and I'm not, by the way, but I would love WWE to just, it depends how long term you think of this. It may be at WrestleMania, but let's just have. I think Seth Rollins is credible enough to beat Brock Lesnar. I definitely think he could do it. I would run with that, and then I would have Roman naturally feel like, hang on a minute, I've been working my butt off for this all this time, and you've just come in and managed to get the win, and I've been so unlucky 3 or 4 times, whatever it's going to be before then. And then you naturally make him the heel. That would be the way I run with it, because then Seth and Roman could have a proper feud on the right way round this time, instead of Seth being the so-called heel, which I just thought was dreadful when they did that, and not Roman, because it was not a natural fit. That would be the way I would like them to go with it. But there are so many ways of going it with them, and so many rumours at this point of where Vince sees this all going. I've seen a lot of rumours that Vince is still maybe not giving up on the whole Daniel Bryan thing yet as well, and a match between Brock and Daniel Bryan at some point could be coming. But we will see, as always. Samantha now has a question, Matt. It's regards our trip here, by the way. Hi guys, heard you were both looking to head off to WrestleMania. So excited for you both, she says. I've been to one myself. I was in New Orleans first time round for WrestleMania 30. Best experience of my life. I think for the podcast you should both consider doing a mini documentary when you are out there. Take a camera, go around all the places you need to do, and record your experience. Let me know what you think. Keep up the good work, Samantha. So thank you for your email there, Samantha. And another good idea there, Matt. I'm sure we will think about definitely for when we go there, Matt. I know we haven't discussed too much yet into it. We need to literally still make the decision of getting the tickets and all the rest of it. But I think it's not a bad idea, is it, Matt? I'm guessing. I'm sure there are a lot of different things we can do when we. That
sounds like a great idea. Get a little GoPro, take it around.
Yeah.
Get the reactions, and because there's always some interesting things that happen before you even get in the building, as we saw from the SummerSlam when we went.
Yeah, absolutely. So we will think of those things. Don't worry. But thank you for your email. Last question now, then, and regular listener here, Stay Lucky. He's not been well, by the way, for a little while, so that's why he hasn't been emailing in. Right. He said, but he's better now, so that's good. Stay lucky. Back to yourself there. So he says, I'm really sick to death of seeing WWE not use SmackDown in the proper, correct way. I've now heard that a TV deal is not going to come up for them, and there's no renewal at this point. Where do you see SmackDown going, and how long will it be before both shows become one again? So he sent this question in this morning actually, and I've done some research, and nothing's official yet, I'll say that much, but it looks like NBC are only interested in keeping Raw, which, to be honest with you, Matt, if I'm NBC and I'm seeing the way they produce both shows, I'd probably think the same, wouldn't you? I mean, why would you keep the B-list show around? Because that is how WWE are treating this. They have done not very well, considering they can have both shows live, and yet they're still doing such an appalling job of sort of saying, well, Raw is the big show. Everything big happens on Raw. It's 3 hours. Not only that, it has kind of like the more marquee talent, I guess, in terms of name power. I know that there are better, there are probably potentially better matchups on SmackDown, don't get me wrong, but I just don't think WWE are ever going to get over the fact that Raw is their baby, Matt.
No, I mean, that is the one with the longer running history, and the one that got it on the map. So they're going to keep the big talent and the big running feuds, and the memorable moments to look back on in another 10 years will always be stemming mostly from the stuff that's happened on Raw. And that's why we have Brock Lesnar on Raw, a huge attraction both inside and outside of WWE, and Ronda Rousey. Yeah. Another one that draws interest from outside of WWE is another sole Raw brand name. But it's an interesting one that this question came from Stay Lucky, because I was thinking about this earlier, and when I was at SmackDown and the British guy Kenny Williams came out,
right.
On the back of his jacket it had. I'm like, is it word of him spreading? Is it like a catching on, or is there like another conspiracy here?
Right. That's
it's like advertisement there.
Yeah, that's
some self-endorsement.
Yeah, you do wonder about this. I mean, a lot of the rumours at the minute are that apparently Facebook's interested in SmackDown, YouTube is interested in SmackDown, like a lot of streaming sites. Now, WWE might think to themselves, okay, we haven't had much luck with TV, maybe we'll take a venture for, I don't know, a year contract with one of these streaming sites. But at the same time, Matt, it might cause a conflict of interest with WWE Network. I'm not saying that it's going to just make people, sign up to YouTube or Facebook or whatever they need to do to get it. But there might be that they might be thinking on those lines, Matt, that we're in the streaming market now. Let's not have it anywhere near that. But then again, they have kind of done things like that mixed tag team thing on Facebook. I'm sure they were trying to gauge how well that would work. And numbers wise, Matt, that got more than any SmackDown shows ever got in the last 5 years. And the only reason that is, Matt, is that if someone sees it on their Facebook feed and they share it, that's it. It's like they don't even have to advertise. They literally, people just go bang, bang, wherever you are around the world. If you've got Facebook, and let's face it, who hasn't around the world these days, then it's easily shared. And it's like WWE don't even have to advertise because it just goes viral. And if there's something really cool happening, people watch it. But it would take away, again, that whole feeling of sitting down and watching it type feeling. But then you wonder, Matt, whether that's really there anyway. I mean, I just don't know. Do people really come in from work in America and sit down on a Tuesday night to tune into SmackDown when they've just come out of 3 hours of Raw? I'm not too sure. When you look at Raw's ratings, they're not exactly marvellous. So maybe they do have to move with the times, Matt. Who knows? But from what I'm gauging, it looks like there's more streaming sites interested than there are networks at the minute. But with that, Matt, I'm guessing that it'll go on another day. You always get like Friday night SmackDown, and it's Tuesday nights, and it's live, and it isn't. So, God knows when it'll be taped and all the rest of it. But it was much more convenient that it came out on the Tuesday, because the problem was, Matt, with Friday night SmackDowns, you would know the results by the time you got there. So it was always like a pointless thing, really. So I do hope that whoever they sell it to, they kind of make an initial agreement that it should probably be, best when we actually tape it and it goes out either that night or, live. So, yeah, it'd be interesting. What do you... Overall, Matt, I mean, do you think... And I know you said earlier, that they're never going to get away from that fact that Raw is the thing. But as far as SmackDown goes, is there enough value in it for WWE to... Because, of course, there are two brands, and it's different if the same guys are on both. But even when the guys were on both, Matt, Raw was always the A show, wasn't it? Do you sense... I know Stay Lucky ended here, and he said they're going to go back as one. Do you think that is really a credible thing that could happen soon, or do you think that they still want to keep with this whole divided thing for a while longer?
It's a good time for the brand split, really. I think the roster is getting bigger, and if they're going to keep getting new talent in, like we see in NXT, there's never like any shortage of young wrestlers getting into the business. Mm-hmm. It's a good time to rebuild, and I think having two separate brands is a good way to do that and to make twice as many superstars twice as fast. It's good to know that you can keep the title on Brock, but you can see another heavyweight title defended every single month. That's another way of getting around that problem as well, because it was when the brands were together and we only saw the title defended once every 3 months. That was kind of a downside. So it'd be good in that sense. And also, what with the whole like moving to a different network and that, there's some real rivalry now. So we could be in for, quite a treat maybe. Maybe the things will heat up a bit more. Maybe competition to actually produce good results for